Hello, everybody. This is Rafał Mulek from the Bariatryczną team, the bariatric team in Wrocław, Poland. And today I have a very great pleasure to be a host to our lovely guest, Andrew Vernon, who used to be our patient, and through all those years he has become our friend also. Andrew, it's great to have you here.
Well, thank you for inviting me, and it's an honour to be here. After all these years, my procedure was January 2019, and was
So is it 19? So it's it's already like
6 years.
6 years.
6 years.
It's quite a long time. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah. 6 years ago. It's amazing how time flies.
It does.
But it was the best thing I did.
Andrew is a chatterbox, so he goes straight to the subject.
Feel free to ask me any question.
I mean, hold on. Well, I mean, let's greet everybody. Let's do some tita-two, and then of course we'll get to the subject, because this is the reason why we met here, and we would like to tell your story, about your whole story of your disease and the recovering of from the disease, and actually living the healthy, normal, happy life right now.
Okay.
So Andrew, right now you are 58.
That's
as you
correct.
mentioned just before. So 6 years ago you are 52.
Yeah.
And at that time you've been suffering from the obesity as a disease. And let's start from that point. How long before we actually met? How long have you been suffering from obesity? Was it your problem while being already a child, or was it, or did it become your problem later in the adult life? How did it all begin?
I'd say it happened from, childhood. It was a case of we were not educated about what to eat, what was healthy, processed food, fast and easy food, which, as we know today, is not.
You mean the English breakfast or something else?
Well, not only the English breakfasts, but mainly just fast food, quick fast food. And I think on top of that also was just eating too quickly. I had worked in a factory where you were constantly working, and you weren't enjoying what you were eating. You were just simply, it's a bit like refilling your car up with fuel. So I wasn't tasting the food or enjoying it. I was just eating, shoveling the food down, not enjoying it. And on top of that, I'd been drinking beer and Guinness, and it was just just a cycle, a continuous cycle. And you'll find that when people go out to socialize and meet other people, they normally end up eating, drinking. It's custom, isn't it? But I think with my problem...
So you're socializing too much at that time?
Well, yeah.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Everybody socializes, don't they? But at the time, I think if you've got that problem, of which I had from an early age, is that I was eating all the wrong food. I wasn't educated of what was healthy and what was not, and then, of course, what happens, I'm diagnosed with type 2 diabetes.
Were you on any kind of medication at the time?
No, not.
So it was just the beginning?
Yeah, in fact, I was, suffering with inflammation. Because the food I was eating rice, pasta, processed food.
The obesity is like, as a disease, is like a constant chronic inflammatory process. Yeah, so all inflammatory tests, agents, they go high, because it's like, being in the process of inflammation constantly, which is the reason why all the blood tests go wrong, basically, when we do the test for the people suffering from not only diabetes, but generally from obesity. Okay, but Andrew, so when did you actually realize that you did have a problem of being obese? When did you realize that there is some medical issues?
I'd got to a stage where I was morbidly obese, and I
Because
tried.
your BMI, as I remember, is more than 40. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember precisely?
I think it was over 40. My
Was-
BMI.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your highest weight. Do you remember how high it was?
Oh, I was
You can put-
20 stone,
20
which is
stones,
over
yeah.
200 pounds
And
plus.
20, something, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, at
And
the
you are like an average height. You are like
5'7".
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
Um,
definitely,
a hun-
it brings you to BMI of more than 40. Definitely.
Yeah, and the thing is that I just found that I didn't have time for people. I was always tired, very sluggish, very tired, not wanting to really. And I was aware within myself I had a problem. And people would say to me, "Oh, you need to eat sensibly. You need to get to the gym." But I thought I was clever, and I'd say, "Well, I own it all. I have, I own all of this obesity," and I denied it. And you suffer in silence. And then I think the game changer with me is that I went to see my physician, and he said, "You type 2 diabetes. That's why you feel tired. That's why you're going to the restroom, the toilet all the time. This is why this is happening." And it was with being a teacher, I was tired. It wasn't doing my lifestyle or my profession any good, and I thought something's got to give here. As you know, I'd waited. I'd been to see the doctor. There was a problem. I waited,
So apart from diabetes, were you diagnosed with any other medical conditions at that time?
Yeah. Well,
Like sleep apnea, like hypertension,
yeah.
hyperlipidemia, or static liver, fatty liver, I mean.
I had what's known as derification of recti, which the inflammation was that bad that my stomach muscles had stretched, they'd torn open. So I had to have a para-umbilical hernia. I then had the hernia repaired, but this was due to with my stomach being
because it was like full of fatty tissues.
Yeah,
so
visceral.
The pressure of your inside your stomach was too high for the tissues of abdominal wall.
That's
and it
correct.
fell apart, tore apart.
Yeah. And then there was a lot of visceral fat, as you well know, is the most dangerous because it covers the organs, and that's So I had para-umbilical hernia. There was sleep apnea, type 2 diabetes, and I was out of breath all the time. I couldn't walk long distances.
So I understand that you needed that doctor on your way who told you, look, it's not only the matter of your weight, of the kilograms you are having on yourself, but it is a matter of being healthy or not. Is it?
Yeah.
What was so important for you to start changing the way of thinking about your obesity?
I'll be brutally honest with you, and to anybody who's watching the show, is that it's a case of sink or swim. If nobody's coming to rescue you, nobody's coming to help you, you've got to do it for yourself. You've got to think, do I sink or do I swim? And I'm utmostly convinced, Dr. Mullock, that if I wouldn't have had bariatric surgery, I may have not been talking with you now. It was that bad, really.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know that, and luckily we won't check it up. But
this
fortunately, of course, you had your bariatric surgery with us, and you are where you are. And I mean, I find you like a person in an excellent condition. So we can be only happy that you actually made up your decision a few years back. So so now we are having Andrew Vernon, who is like 52, obese man, living in Wales,
the UK.
In the UK at that time. And he suffers from diabetes and some other comorbidities because of his obesity. And so your doctor says, okay, Andrew, you need some professional help. And did she send you to any bariatric surgeon around, or what sort of service did she offer to you to help you go down with your weight at that time?
Well, what happened?
Heal your body.
Well, the doctor had said to me, Well, the initial thing, the doctor said to me, well, you need to start walking and exercising. There are plenty of hills and mountains in Wales. But I didn't have the energy. I wasn't in the right mindset. And so then what the doctor suggested is that I went to the gymnasium and exercise. In the UK, we have what's known as a referral scheme, whereby if you're morbidly obese, the doctor will send you to a gymnasium. And that's all very well. And then you have to wait up to then possibly 5 years for what's known as RNY bypass or gastric sleeve surgery. In the UK, it's mostly RNY bypass, but you've got to meet the criteria. You've got to have a BMI of 40.
This is what you had?
Well, exactly. I had all the conditions,
So were you actually sent to the bariatric team back at home?
No, because the National Health Service, especially in Wales, where I'm from, were really uneducated about it. It was a case of, well, you exercise and we'll send your details off to, in South Wales, there's a place called Wymos, and then they determine whether you have the surgery or not, okay?
So at that time, as you claimed, the waiting list was like 5 years?
5 years.
How is it right now, roughly?
It's still 5
is
years.
It
is, and it's getting worse from what I believe.
Okay.
So what happens as a result? I wait genuinely for 5 years. I follow the protocol from what my doctor suggested.
Okay, so it was actually before even you reached 52. So it was a few years before.
Yeah, because in 2015, sadly, my mother had passed away, and she'd said to me that one of the last things my mother had said to me is, Andrew, you need to lose that weight. You need to. I then soon after went to the doctor. And then I explained I genuinely wanted to lose weight, but I just couldn't see a way out. So then the doctor, as I say, he diagnosed me with type 2 diabetes. I then had verification recti, the hernia was repaired, the sleep apnea, and he referred me to Wymos in South Wales, and I waited and waited. Now, come December 2019, I went back to my doctor in the UK and I said, look, I've waited. Has there been any news? Because I'm anxious. I'd like to know whether I'm going to have surgery or not. I've legitimately waited. And my doctor had said to me, my physician had said, oh, he didn't know. He said, look, you need the surgery, but I'm afraid it's not looking good. It was then I went to a hospital, a private hospital in Wales, and I was quoted an astronomical price for gastric sleeve surgery. I couldn't afford it. I simply couldn't. I couldn't afford what there was. I was told by the surgeon it would be a 45-minute procedure. And as for
they must have been good surgeons.
Well, apparently, I can't tell you the surgeon's name, but he said, it's going to cost you somewhere in the region of £11,000 to £12,000. It's a 45-minute procedure. We're going to perform gastric sleeve surgery. I asked about whether there'd be side effects after it. He said, well, you'll need to take some multivitamin tablets, and that's about it. The side effects are very minimal. I just found it really not sort of convincing. And he got his business card, he threw it at me, and he said, when you've got the money, come back and we'll talk. And that was it for me. And I remember speaking to Monica, who's a good friend of mine, as you well know.
You mean Monica, this is a friend of yours and living in Poland, yeah?
That's correct, yeah. And I was so, I said, I don't know why I try. I was very upset, I was very down, and I couldn't, and Monica said, look, why don't you come with me to Poland? And, because I was at a stage whereby I thought, what do I do? I've waited for 5 years. I just couldn't see a way out. And Monica said, have faith in me and I will introduce you to to Dr. Raphael Malik, yourself, of course, and that's what happened. So when I came over to the hospital, the EMC hospital in Wrocław, and I met yourself.
By the way, right now it's not anymore EMC. We are right now...
Bariatryczną.
No, I mean, this is like the name of the project, really. But I mean, the hospital is like, is now a Penta Hospital. Yeah, I mean, we belong to the bigger group right now, which is called Penta Hospital.
Yeah. So, of course, you'll remember meeting Monica and myself, and you examined me. And
as I remember, I'm not really sure, but you can remind me. We first met in a hospital, isn't it? We didn't or were you emailing me before we met in a hospital? Or
I seem to remember visiting Poland for the first time
at that time
with
actually.
Monica, yeah. And Monica and I came over to the hospital, and that's where you gave the consultation. And I can remember you bringing out I said, well, because I was very intrigued to find out, how do you perform this surgery? Because I didn't know anything. And you said, well, we do it with...
the camera,
a camera, and you have what's known as keyhole surgery, and I can remember you bringing out the scissor with the staple, and explaining it very carefully with the titanium staples and showing me, and I thought, oh, this is amazing. And in fairness, you went into great detail of what you were going to do, how it was going to be done, and what to expect. And your English is impeccable. Your English is very good. I just felt really at ease, and
it's because of long conversations with you.
Well, yes, it does help. Yes, yeah,
it does. Yeah,
yeah. But I just felt for once somebody was listening. Somebody cared. I felt I was, and in a hospital, it wasn't as if it was a holiday package where you fly to a country, you put into a hotel, then you catch a taxi, and then you go to the theatre, you have the surgery, and then you go back to the hotel. And if anything should happen, then ring this number. There's nobody with you. You're by yourself in a hotel room.
Usually there's some extra things like visiting the big bazaar.
Yeah, well, there's that. Whereas with the hospital, I stayed in the hospital, 24 hours around the clock. The nurses would monitor me. They'd come and see me. I wasn't alone. I was in a hospital. If anything should happen, the team was there.
So I'm not sure if you remember, but if you do, it will be interesting to hear. From our first meeting to the moment of your surgery, how long was the period of time in between? Was it like a couple of weeks, a couple of months? Do you remember?
There was a consultation, which was in fact, it was December 2018, the consultation, and then it was in the January of 2019 that I actually had the procedure. So like a
few weeks later.
Yeah.
Okay. And in between, did you visit your home in the UK, or were you staying the whole time in Poland at that time?
Well, I flew back.
You flew back.
I flew back to Liverpool, and then from Liverpool back to Wales.
At that time, were you actually thinking about any other medical destinations, or you were convinced by, at that time by me, to have your surgery with our team in our EMC hospital? Were you considering any other options, like? Did you go to your doctor back in the UK saying, look, I'm just about to have a surgery in Poland, and she went like, oh, no, don't do it. We'll do it faster in the UK. Was there any situation like that?
I had said to the physician, the physician at home in the UK, I said, look, I'm thinking about going overseas for my procedure. The physician said, well, that's your choice. I said, well, I've waited.
But was she trying to make you change your decision, or was she was she afraid of such a decision made by you?
No, not really. No. They didn't seem to care. It was, we don't care.
Okay.
And
maybe it's just your impression, maybe.
Yeah,
I wouldn't like us to say anything wrong about about anybody you met somewhere else, because it's not the meaning of our meeting. But
I mean, my honest opinion is my doctor at the time in the UK was as frustrated and infuriated as much as I. He had tried everything. No, he's got to go to the government. He's got to go to Wymos in South Wales. He's got to convince that I'm a legitimate character, a legitimate patient who desperately needs this surgery, but because the waiting list is so long. And he said, Andrew, I'm sorry, I really do care for you. I really am trying, but there's nothing more I can do. I'd rather you be honest. And so I'm thinking immediately negatively. I'm thinking, I'll go alone. I'll do it myself, you see.
Were you afraid at that time?
Yeah.
Any specific things you were afraid of, or just generally, like all the patients are afraid of having the general anesthesia, actually, not really the surgery, but were you afraid particularly about the fact that it's gonna happen in Poland, which is 2,000 kilometers away from your home? Were you having any doubts about the hospital, about the medical service?
I think when I visited the hospital, I could see the hospital was busy, it was clean, it was professional, and people are warned about medical tourism all the time. They're warned about it. And I know that when I visited the hospital, as I say, it was clean, it was professional. I was going to be staying in the hospital. I was shown the rooms, I was shown around. And my mind was put at ease, but there's always that doubt, isn't there? With any surgery, there is always that risk. You could be in any hospital anywhere. There's always a risk factor.
Actually, I have to say that I don't like when the patients are having no doubts at all, because that means they are not sensible, really. I'm not trying to judge anybody, but and people are different. But it's totally normal for me when people have some fears, have some doubts, because that means that they were thinking about the procedure they are gonna have, they're about to have. And of course, we are there for our patients to become calm, because we can discuss all the matters which make them horrified. Usually when we explain what's gonna happen, how all the procedures are gonna look like, and what are the risks if they are really frequent, or they are actually not possible to happen, that makes people at ease at the end of the day. And this is our role to play at that
and I think also what was really good about the hospital is that before I had the procedure, I was talking to a psychologist, and the psychologist was really helpful.
Oh, great.
And the dietitian, the psychologist, everybody. This is a major decision, and yourself, you've met a lot of people who are sort of doubtful. They are scared. They may be, and it's only natural that they're about to become. They may be a bit nervous or fearful.
Do you remember the tests we did to you at the time of your preparation for the surgery?
Yeah.
Apart from the blood tests, do you remember what happened?
You measured my weight and blood pressure, the normal things. I remember on the morning of January the 9th, 2019, it was January, arriving at the hospital. My blood was tested. Urine tested. I had an endoscope to check if there were any ulcers in my stomach, because you can't proceed with the surgery unless... Was it
a horrifying thing to have endoscopy or not? Were you sleeping at the time, do you remember?
Yes.
Yes, you did. It's a tricky question, because I'm just checking up if you do remember, because actually all the endoscopy tests while people do sleep at that time, so they mainly
I'll tell you, what I really remember this, and I don't mind sharing this with you and the audience, and I'll be totally honest, is I'd been to see a good friend of mine, and I said, I'm going to Poland for surgery. Oh, Andrew, it's medical tourism. And my friend, who's an attorney, said, oh, you might want to get some insurance, medical insurance, because, Andrew, if you do not pull through the surgery, we've got to look at this realistically, you'll have to come home, and you'll have to come home in a box, and, and these are things that need to be discussed.
Yeah.
If you don't pull through,
Of course.
so I took out some medical insurance. I think I paid £170 for medical insurance, so that if I didn't pull through, that I would be returned home. I know it's a morbid thing to talk about, but these issues have to be addressed. And I can remember saying to you, "Oh, I've got some medical insurance," and you said, "Medical insurance?" And so I got a piece of paper and I drew a picture of a coffin, and you went, and then I said, "Yeah, but if you have to, if you have to bring me back," and you said to me, "Andrew, that's not going to happen. Your blood tests have been done, your endoscope, you've got no ulcers in your stomach, we've done urine tests, we've done all the checks. I wouldn't proceed with the procedure unless I thought my professional opinion is that if you were good for surgery, and you're good for surgery, so you don't need, I know you won't need that insurance." And you were absolutely right. But
Yeah, well, I don't know if I would put it exactly in the same way right now. It's totally normal, in my opinion, that people do buy some medical insurances, because of course we do all those tests. I don't know, maybe you don't remember all those tests, but we do, apart from all you mentioned already, we do like ultrasound scan.
That's right.
We do chest X-ray. You normally are consulted by the endocrinologist, psychologist, dietitian,
That's correct.
and cardiologist with the USG for the heart.
Yes.
We do the gastroscopy with the consultation of the gastroenterologist, and so on and so on. We do spirometry, all those tests we do to make sure our patients are in a good condition to have a safe, straightforward surgery, of course.
That's correct.
And of course, this is all we can do to make before the surgery, to make it as safe as possible. Of course, during the surgery and after, there can happen other things which would make it, let's say, complicated, because we, always have to have in mind that there are some problems possible after, and it doesn't have to be straightforward after we do the procedure, or even the procedure itself. Anytime we do the surgery and we provide with the medical service for anybody, it doesn't really matter if it's someone coming from abroad, or if the patients are from Poland. We do all the best we can to make it safe, so that our patients can leave our hospital the day after or 2 days after the procedure and go back safely home.
Well, I must admit, the professionalism of the hospital was very thorough. The checks were very thorough, and it's funny when you talk about it now, it jogs my memory. I'm thinking, oh, really? I remember having all of these thorough checks.
Because usually we take 2 days, and it must have been the same way at the time when you came for your surgery. We take first 2 days before the day of surgery for all those tests. And of course, if anything happens, if anything comes up, which is like a contraindication for the surgery on the third day, we postpone the surgery as long as it's necessary to get back our patients to the good condition again. And then we can repeat the tests, and then we can make our judgment again until we see that the patients are ready to have safe, straightforward surgery.
And I think, what made me feel what put my mind at ease is that I was in a hospital, and there was medical staff on hand all the time. And I remember the nurses waking me up at 2 a.m. saying, "Right, we need to, keep you hydrated. We need to keep you moving." And the checks are thorough. The nurses were there all the time, and I just felt I couldn't fault it. I really couldn't. The nurses were there. I wasn't having to pick up a telephone. They were punctual. They were on time. They were professional.
Excellent. And Andrew, let's move forward. Of course, do remember.
May I interrupt you on that one?
Sure.
Do you remember me saying to you, I believe the procedure's for 45 minutes, and you saying to me, I spent an hour on the procedure, not 45 minutes.
Yeah. I had a teacher, a surgeon teacher, who used to say that there are two activities he doesn't look at the clock when he does them, and one of them is doing the surgical procedure, and the other is home procedure.
Well,
of course, I mean, it depends on. Sometimes it takes 1 hour, sometimes it takes 45 minutes. It doesn't really matter. You have to take as much time as you need to make it safe.
Do you find
correct? And it's not like racing. It's not like being very slow if you don't need that, and your procedure doesn't need that either. So it has to be like straightforward, and you should be get into the bank of the sea to end it safely and as quickly as possible.
And of course, the liver, the size of the liver.
Of course, it can make it longer and more difficult. Because as you remember, the liver always lies in front of the stomach. So if it's very fatty, and it means also very fragile. So we have to, before we actually get to the stomach, we have to lift it up with some equipment. And of course, for that reason, actually, we do really like that our patient lose some weight before the procedure. Did you have to lose some weight?
A bit. That's right. It's all coming back because I can remember you contacting me and saying, Andrew, you've got to shrink your liver.
Yeah.
And this was, I think, 6 weeks before the procedure, maybe even months before the procedure. Andrew, I can remember you emailing me and saying, Andrew, you're not drinking any alcohol.
Oh.
You're not binge eating. You've got a sensible diet because we need that liver to be shrunk because it'll make
it helps a lot.
I remember now.
It helps a lot. And Andrew, if you could tell our audience what sort of procedures you had, was it sleeve gastrectomy?
That's correct. It was a sleeve gastrectomy. Yeah.
You remember our conversation when we were choosing the procedure for you? Why we actually went for sleeve gastrectomy? Were we discussing any other options? Any memories of that?
Yeah, I remember you saying, there's RNY bypass. The NHS in England normally they carry out the RNY bypass where they bypass the
stomach,
the stomach with an intestine. I think that that's more for diabetics, from what I believe. I may be wrong. So I was given the option of RNY bypass. There's duodenal switch, or there's gastric sleeve. Now I think gastric sleeve is very popular, and from what I believe,
right now it's actually the most popular procedure all over the world. Actually, maybe not in the UK, but where it's still the Roux-en-Y gastric bypass, which is the most common. In our practice, we do 60% of the procedures via sleeves right now, and the rest 40 it's different kind of bypasses actually. Not only Roux-en-Y.
Duodenal switches can be very difficult. It
can be very difficult, especially for the patient, right? Because it's a very malabsorptive procedure, and actually it's being done less and less throughout the world because it's much more difficult for the patients to keep stabilized levels of vitamins and all the nutrients.
Malnutrition.
It's very easy to get into the malnutrition after that procedure, and actually it's not good for the patients who live far away from their surgeons, really, because sometimes you can get into some really difficult problems because of the malnutrition. I
know with the gastric sleeve you can say, for example, I've got a gastric sleeve, as you well know. I wanted to switch from a gastric sleeve to a RNY bypass. I could do that.
Yeah, it's possible, of course.
So that's the option you have. So gastric sleeve with an RNY bypass, you cannot switch to a gastric sleeve.
Well, I mean, there are some technical issues. There is no point in discussing it right now, but because it will be maybe too difficult for everybody to understand. But I mean, the point is, I mean, we opted for sleeve gastrectomy, which we did. At the end of the day, you've been living with your shrinked stomach for more than 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah, and how does it work for you? I mean, I would say quite good, really, because your BMI right now is. Could you tell us?
26.
26. Yeah. So it's, I mean, a big difference compared to the more than 40 before your surgery.
Yeah.
So how did you find your sleeve? How did you find yourself, your stomach, your life after the surgery? How was it? What was the first difference you have noticed at that time?
I think within 9 months, I dropped a lot of weight. I had good elasticity with my skin. Because I think a lot of people fear about they're going to have a lot of fatty skin. They've got to
lose the
skin. I was quite lucky because my skin was quite elastic. The weight within 9 months had dropped off me, and people.
So how many stones did you lose?
Oh, I was down.
Was it like half the way? Half of your weight, or a bit less?
At one stage was 56 kilograms.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I dropped really down. Yeah, I dropped so much weight. A lot of my friends were coming to me and going, "Oh, you know, are you sure? Are you okay?"
That reminds me of the story, which is the Miserables.
But a lot of people, 56 kilograms. I dropped so much weight, and then
Well, I mean, did it happen like without any effort put from you, or was it like I mean, this is how your process worked, or I mean, any specific reason why you dropped your weight so drastically?
Yeah, well, what had happened is that I was, of course, eating. I thought I could go back to eating fish and chips, pint of beer. There's no way I could eat that food ever again. I had to. This was helping Andrew now. I had to change my lifestyle.
Why wasn't
and
it
mindset.
possible? I mean, was there any problem with going back to the unhealthy style of life, or?
Well, there was no. The only best analogy I can use, it's like a baby learning how to eat again. I was eating, soup, food which had been broken down, getting a lot of protein, egg, chicken that had been diced up, smaller portions.
Yeah, but what you're talking right now, it's going into the healthy way of eating.
Yeah.
Was that very helpful? Because of course, like everybody knows, after you have your more than half of your stomach removed, your stomach is like 1/3 or 1/4 of the size before the surgery. Was that helpful? That so-called restriction we made for you by cutting out your stomach, was that helpful with eating like healthier, or was it just helping you with eating less?
For sure, the physical size of it, there is no way, even if I wanted to, there was no way, even if I wanted to, I couldn't eat what I used to eat.
So any mistake you would make wasn't big anymore.
Yeah, and also my mindset was, Andrew, you've got to now have a sensible diet. You've got to eat sensibly. You've got to change your portion sizes. Because if you don't, you are going to go back to how you used to be. Because
So basically, first of all, we have to say that you were able to change your mindset.
Yeah, I had to change my mindset.
Was there anybody particular who helped you doing that, apart from us, like saying, of course, Andrew, you are in a new position, you are like sort of starting your life from the beginning. You have to be careful. Everything what you eat should be healthy. You should think about what you should plan, first of all, what you are gonna eat.
Yeah.
Did you have anybody else who was helpful at that time?
Well, as I say, I got an accountability partner, because there's, I thought, well, I'm not alone. I had an accountability partner who'd also had bariatric surgery. There's information out there, and just, and as I say, I used to email yourself and keep in touch with the hospital, which were great. But it was a case of, I've got to do this for myself now, because I'm not going to have a second chance. And you'll find it's easy to fall back into old habits unless you're careful. And also, may I add that you'll get some people, maybe family or friends, will say, "Oh, are you sure you should have had?"
Oh, yeah,
They'll sabotage.
Those are the very
It's a bit
frequent questions.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Would you like a cake? Oh, Andrew, you look so thin. Are
One
you
more,
well?
one more.
Yeah. Oh, you're so thin. Are you? Oh, you're only 56 kilograms. Oh, have this cake.
You are not loving your auntie anymore.
Yeah,
and
of course
she did such a nice cake for you.
that's right. And the thing is, right? It's a disease. Morbid obesity. It's a disease. We know that the hunger hormone ghrelin is in the stomach, and that determines the pylorus muscle that opens and closes. And so, as you know, if you've got an addiction towards food, a compulsive addiction towards food and drinking unhealthy food and processed food, you're going to eat and eat and eat. And there's your old self, your old former self is always willing to meet you. Say, "Oh, do you remember me? Come and have a drink with me. Come and have a pizza with me. Come and have..." And your old self is always saying, "Come back." And then you get a reality check from your accountability partner that says, "Hold on. You don't want to go back to how you used to be." So it is mind over matter. But physically, I was eating fish, I was eating salmon, I was eating food that I'd normally turn my nose up, and I had to retrain myself.
But as you said, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but when you said in the beginning that you were making very unhealthy choices, like taking some fast foods and whatsoever, so I understand that again from that point of your surgery, you changed your mindset for choosing healthier choices. As our dietitian called also, like Kate called also the queen of proteins. Because she always keeps saying and repeating to our patients that the most important thing after you have your surgery is the proteins. So was that easy for you, or maybe was it difficult for you to change your focus towards the proteins at that time? Because basically you had to. What was helpful? What was handy? Why actually? How did you make it to make it possible? To make it like everyday routine?
I had to become educated. I had to read, ask a lot of questions, and talk to my accountability partner. I mean, on one example, I ate some chicken and it was so dense that I could feel my stomach couldn't, cope. And I thought, well, is this going to be forever? But it isn't, because we know that eventually I would be able to eat, portion control was important, keeping protein. I didn't drink any carbonated drinks. I still don't drink any carbonated drinks at all. I don't drink beer anymore. I don't drink anything with carbonated water, anything that might inflate the stomach, rice, pasta, anything like that, any processed food.
So basically you changed the way of not only eating, but the way of living completely. And how long did it take you to meet that previous Andrew on your way saying, "Oh, have something unhealthy, have some beer, have something like
that's a really good question. And
do you still meet that guy?
Now and again, I see the old Andrew.
Really?
Yeah, like sometimes I like.
But is he weaker right now than he was like 6 years back?
Yeah, I look at the picture. Of myself in Wrocław in 2019.
Yeah, I remember that picture from the main market. Yeah.
That's it. And I look at that picture and I think, no, he's gone. He's not the same person. This is the new Andrew. But the thing is, it's so easy to fall back into the old habit. Stress, anxiety. We are only human.
Yeah, sure.
And we sometimes fall off our bicycle, and sometimes we have to pick ourselves back up and get on the bike again and start cycling. Now and again, I'll have some dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is good.
It's definitely tasty.
Yeah, I'll have a bit of dark chocolate. I will have maybe 1 pint of Guinness.
Every?
3-4 months.
Okay.
I can't.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah, I can't. I'll have maybe 1 pint of Guinness, maybe 3-6 months. I'll have a gin and tonic, but that's it. I never used to drink gin and tonic. Portion sizes a lot smaller. I had to do a complete.
Are your portion sizes still smaller, much smaller than they used to be before your surgery?
They're a bit bigger now.
Then straight after the surgery, compared to that time straight after the surgery.
Oh, straight after the surgery.
But right now, when you eat little, let's say, is
Yeah.
it because of your stomach size, or is it because you've learned how to make your portions smaller?
Yeah,
And how to be happy with smaller portions?
But what I do is that, say for example, this is my hand. So all of this is salad. The entire hand is salad, and the protein is this area. So you've got carbohydrates, which is the palm. We've got protein here, and then salad.
Okay.
And if I clench my fist, that's about the size. That's about the amount of food.
The hill of on the plate.
Yeah. So you can eat as much salad as you like.
When you eat, do you
I always
rather
have proteins, fish, salmon.
do you start with the proteins when you eat your meals, or I mean, any special tip for eating you'd have for your audience?
Well, what I would recommend is that you start with eating the vegetables first, okay? And then you can have your fiber. You can then have your protein.
Fiber is also vegetables, of course. Yeah.
Sorry, yes, I do. Yes, so your vegetables first, then your protein, and then the last thing, if you're going to eat anything sweet, because you don't want to spike your glycemic level, you don't want to spike your glycemic levels up, leave the last thing you eat, which is sweet. If you have a sweet tooth, you want a bit of chocolate.
Prepare your stomach for having something sweet, so that glycemia doesn't spike up very rapidly.
That's right. So you don't want your glycemic level to spike up straight away.
Yeah.
So eat vegetables first, then your vegetables, your proteins, carbs, and then leave your sweet until the last. That's what I tend to do. I have a routine, and I have I eat strawberries, blueberries are great. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, banana.
But today, when I rang you up to talk about because we are recording in the evening, when I rang you up in the morning, you said it was like a few minutes before 11, and you were in a hotel. So I told you to hurry up because you'll miss your breakfast, and you said that it's okay, you'll just have an apple. How usually does your breakfast look like? Is it just, as you said, an apple, or is it like rather something bigger?
I'll be totally honest with you.
My question goes into the direction of if you how many meals a day you have, which one is the biggest one, how many hours you fasten, for example, in between after the period of eating. How does it look like?
What I do, okay, and I'll share this with everybody who's watching the show, is that I skip breakfast.
You do skip breakfast.
I skip breakfast. In the morning, I'll drink water.
Okay.
I'll keep myself hydrated. I'll skip breakfast. And then for lunch...
which is about what time?
12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. I'll have a good lunch. And then at dinner time or tea time, we call it in the UK, or dinner time...
which is like 7 o'clock, 5 o'clock?
5 o'clock, I'll have salmon and salad. So for lunch, I might have ham with salad. I try to cut down on the carbohydrates, so I'll have a lunch, maybe a smoothie, and then for dinner I'll have maybe salmon and salad.
So the dinner is like a second meal during the day.
During the day.
Okay, and your last meal? What time do you have your last meal?
That is my last meal.
Oh, is it? So you
Yeah.
have like two proper meals during the day.
Yeah, and then I'll keep myself hydrated.
Yeah. How much water or other fluids do you drink?
Oh, I try and 1 litre, 2 litres of water.
Okay. Do you drink coffee? Or just the tea as British?
I have about 2 lattes a day.
Okay, with milk, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's some extra calories.
Yeah, full fat milk because there's protein in the
3.2.
Yeah, there's plenty of protein in the full fat milk. But I'll have maybe 2 lattes a day, and also what I'll do if I feel a bit peckish. You know what peckish is? I feel, I've got some almonds. Nuts, almond nuts.
Yeah.
So if I feel a bit peckish, I'll eat some.
So binge. If you have to binge, it's like nuts.
Almonds.
Yeah, almonds.
Yeah,
Okay.
and nothing sweet.
Okay.
Because it'll.
But I mean, don't the sweets call up after you? Like I mean, when the sweets see you, do they say, "Oh, Andrew, hello, we are here," or is like not your story anymore?
What I do is that on a Sunday, I'll go to the refrigerator and I've got a bar of dark chocolate and I'll break a piece off.
And you lick it.
And yes. So you got to treat, if somebody said to me, well, Andrew, you have to give up on everything. Well, I never had bariatric surgery in order to give up on everything I used to, because sometimes the old Andrew would say, oh, you've done really well this week. You've been good. Maybe you should have a bar of chocolate, or maybe you should have a Guinness. But what normally happens at the end of the week, I'll have a bit of dark chocolate. That's my reward. I might have a Guinness. And that's it.
Okay, Andrew, that sounds very healthy, but I mean, why did you really need to have the bariatric surgery? What did you need it for? I mean, couldn't you just simply change the way of thinking 6 years back? Because right now, what you say, it's the health only. So why didn't you start thinking that way before your surgery and instead of having your surgery, why didn't you change the way of living, basically? Why did you need the surgeon for?
Well,
it's a tricky question, I know, but
I'll be brutally honest with you. It was loneliness and boredom. I was not in a good place, and loneliness, boredom, and procrastination. You sat there, there's no purpose, and so what do you eat? What do you turn to? You turn to...
I know, but I mean...
What can you control and what can you not control?
If you can understand my question the way I do, we didn't treat you from loneliness by doing the surgery, yeah? If you are not feeling lonely anymore, that must have been happened something to you in your life, and it wasn't the surgery, of course, yeah? My tricky question, let's say, is like, why did you need that surgery, any sort of procedure to change the way of living, basically?
Yeah.
Why didn't you do it earlier? I know we are the optimistic guys,
sure.
and it was like a life-changing just meeting us. But of course, I'm joking. But I mean, why was it helpful? I mean, is it because of your stomach size? Was it because of ghrelin, which the hunger hormone, or was it because you met our dietitian, our psychologist? What was like a milestone in your life?
Yeah, I think again. It's a case of, I guess, having an addictive personality. I could control food, nothing else I could control, but I could control food.
Thanks to the surgery, you mean?
Yeah, before the surgery,
okay.
This processed food, all the chemicals they're putting in this processed food makes it very addictive. And of course, having an addictive personality, all these chemicals, I could control that. It enabled me to escape the morbid obesity by just feeding my habit of eating processed food and drinking. It was a form of escapism. But you're always going to come back to being Andrew, morbidly obese. So I could control that.
Just by changing the portion sizes?
Oh, yeah. So after the surgery, I'd come to the end of the line when I had to have bariatric surgery. I tried all diets. I tried the Atkins diet. I looked at the Cambridge diet. I tried all diet. I just wasn't strong enough to follow any diet because I couldn't control myself. I couldn't help myself because of loneliness and boredom, having no purpose. But what I could control was eating all this processed food and all this junk and trash. And you turn on the TV these days, it's there, it's readily available. You can eat it, it's readily, easily available. And that's something I could control in my life. I didn't know the impact it was having on my health until I needed to have bariatric surgery. So I'm grateful I've been given this second chance. And every day since 2019, I remind myself, look at your old picture, Andrew, see how you used to be. Do you want to go back to how you used to be? And I think with support from not only your nutritionist, dietitian, from yourself, the surgeon, everybody on board is there to help you. And I found that with yourself and the team. And so there gets to a stage whereby you have to become self-disciplined, because there are a lot of people who will sabotage your efforts, but you've got to keep on saying to yourself, every day you've got to remind yourself you're in a better place. My life expectancy now is far greater than what it used to be. As I said to you before, if I would have carried on the way I was going, I may have had a coronary heart attack. I may have had, because of visceral fat, cancer, anything, the risk grows. But by changing my lifestyle and having bariatric surgery, thanks to yourself and the team, I feel healthier. I can walk greater distances. I can run. I can cycle. I can do so many things. I can dance. I can all those things I couldn't do before. I can now do, and I'm not going to give up.
And I'll keep my fingers crossed for you for the coming years.
I mean, I'm nearly 60 years of age.
You wouldn't say. Andrew, I have three actually more questions.
Sure.
Yeah. So first one is as you travel a lot, actually, because I mean all the time.
All over
anytime
the world.
anytime we talk, you come up with any other destinations I know only from the map.
Sure.
Like you've been for me, you've been everywhere. In Asia, in Australia, New Zealand, and so on and so on. As you travel a lot, isn't it difficult for you to keep to your healthy patterns because of traveling? Or do you have any special tips for someone who has like irregular style of life to be able to keep to your patterns, to your healthy patterns, not to spoil your results?
That's a really good question. Just the other day I was shopping in when I go to a Polish market, I have to read the labels very carefully. But it's important that you how many sugar, carbohydrates, protein. So I look at the products very carefully, because there's a lot of hidden sugars. There's one particular called maltodextrin. And maltodextrin is a very interesting chemical. It'll spike your glycemic level up. It's full of carbs. That's one. What I tend to do is, if it's fish, I know it's a fish. If it's lamb or beef, I know it's beef. If it's water, it's water. If it's almonds, I tend to stick with what I know.
Do I understand it correctly? You pick up, you choose, you go for like a basic products, not the processed food.
Yeah.
And you want to say that it's easy when you're abroad?
I think Mediterranean cooking is very healthy. I mean, cheese, I used to eat a lot of cheese. Now I eat goat's cheese. Goat's cheese, I love goat's cheese. I eat a lot of salad, And also you have to be careful with a lot of these dressings because in a lot of these dressings there's a lot of
In
sugar.
a little amount, there is a lot of,
A lot of sugar
calories.
in, yeah, these hidden calories, these hidden sugars.
I was actually surprised because I mean I've always thought, I mean not anymore really, but let's say like simple thing like a ketchup.
Yeah.
I always thought it just tomato sauce, great,
Yeah.
and it's just probably half of it is like sugar.
It is.
Just to make it again tastier and more addictive to you. Yeah.
And of course, these monster drinks, these fizzy drinks, they're full of sugar, and of course, Red Bull.
It's just CO2 and sugar.
And it spikes your glycemic level up and everything. But what I tend to do, and I think what's really important is that, I cook my own food these days. I know what I'm cooking.
Even when you travel?
If I can, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, just the other day I was in the Galleria, and there's a salad store there. I think they call it Salad Story.
Yeah.
And I bought a salad from there, and they said, "Oh, what salad would you like?" And I said, "Well, I'll have some tomatoes, I'll have some lettuce, I'll have some bell peppers, and I'll have protein." So I got my, and the protein was, there was prawns. I love seafood, prawns, protein, and they made this kind of, I think they call it a burrito of some sort, like a sandwich, And the thing is with bread, I eat sourdough bread rather than white bread because bread is full of sugar.
Like everything, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
Sourdough bread, granular grain sourdough bread that's what I'll eat if anything. But bread is normally full of sugar.
Yeah. So to sum it up, traveling, it's not it doesn't have to be an obstacle to the healthy life. You just have to travel in a clever way.
Yeah, I mean, when I lived in South Korea, when I used to, I'll speak a bit of Korean now.
No, don't try it with me.
I used to go to a place called
because I will answer in Chinese.
Okay, I used to go to a place called Gimbap Changu, right, which means rice heaven, and I used to eat seaweed, kelp. Well, kelp is good for your hair and your eyes, and Korean food. There's protein, there's sesame leaves, there's pork, so these foods are really healthy. However, I don't eat a lot of rice or pasta because it inflates in the stomach, and rice and pasta is full of carbohydrates.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but apart from
that's why they are tasty.
Well, yeah, exactly. And then Japan, they like a lot of food that has sodium in it, and sodium is full of salt, and it'll raise your blood pressure. So it's when you go overseas, you know what you like. So
I would say that you go more forward the Mediterranean diet than the English way of eating.
Yeah, and another one is if I fry an egg, okay. If I fry an egg or if I fry anything, I'll always fry it in cold-pressed coconut oil.
Okay.
Coconut oil, cold-pressed coconut oil. You can buy it in jars.
Yeah, it's healthier.
Olive oil.
Okay.
It's great. Fry in olive oil or coconut oil. Okay. Don't use any
I'll keep it in mind. I'll discuss it with our dietitian, Katie.
Yeah. Vegetable oil, because in vegetable oil, that what causes inflammation. These, what are they, hydrogenous oils.
Okay.
They cause a lot of inflammation. Vegetable oil.
Trans.
That's it. Trans. Yeah, they cause a lot of inflammation, which will cause fatty liver and visceral fat. So, cold-pressed coconut oil and olive oil is what I fry with.
Okay, Andrew.
Yep.
So you've been doing many things in your life. You've been a teacher of English,
mathematics, science, engineering. Met King Charles.
Lots of things to do with teaching, basically. Yeah. So, but I promise you to mention that you are an inventor as well. because you invented some tricky gadget for helping you.
Can we talk about it?
Yeah, we can, of course. I mean, if it's not proper, we'll cut it out later.
No, that's fine.
So if you would like to share your
yeah.
with us, a few words about your invention.
Sure.
Because I mean, we're not gonna talk right now about the new way of using the bulb, but you invented something which could be helpful for people who went through the process of bariatric surgery as well.
This is it. Listen, everybody who's listening to the show, this is really interesting stuff. Okay.
Yeah, go on.
Because when I'd had my bariatric surgery, I found I couldn't eat as quickly as I used to. And I did.
And usually, actually, the people are quick eaters, and they eat quicker than they chew. Really, they simply swallow.
They guzzle it down. We call it guzzle it.
And they don't. I mean, they tend to forget to use their teeth, basically. Yeah.
So the idea I came up with. When you've had bariatric surgery, you'll get to a stage where you are able to eat solids. Chicken, meat, protein.
Yeah, after a few weeks of a liquid diet.
Yeah. And so once you've ate your food, if you drink liquid, so if you can imagine the stomach is like a funnel like this, okay? So you eat your food, you drink water or liquid on top of your food. That food is then swooshed through the pylorus muscle, straight through to the small intestine, and the nutrients are not absorbed. Okay. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it advisable for you to chew on your food for 25 to 30 seconds?
Well, that's the funny thing, because I've never measured the time you need to do it. But I mean, the point is that you chew your food as long as you get like a mashed food in your mouth, how do you call it? Pulp. Yeah, like in the Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
So this is the point of chewing. Yeah. That when you, first of all, you you feel the taste. Yeah. You prepare the food for being like
saliva.
With saliva, to moisture with saliva,
the enzymes,
and to let it easily and without any problems go down through your esophagus up to or down to your stomach.
Yeah.
So that it's then you have like you prepared it for the easy way of hydrolyzing it by the enzymes in your stomach and later in the intestine. Yeah.
But so what I thought of was, if you had a spoon or a fork and you took a piece of meat, you put it into your mouth, or chicken or fish, and you chomped on it, and you chewed it for, say, 25 to 30 seconds.
We tell people to count, but I never tried it, and I believe it's gonna be like quite challenging to count every bite of meal.
This is why it's called a mindful eating electronic device, you see, because it's not. So what happens is that you get a piece of meat, you put it into your mouth, you chew it for 25 to 30 seconds. You take your time, you swallow it. You then take the next portion, again, chew it for 25 seconds. And then you take the next, you finish your meal, and then you put the fork or the spoon down, and then you've got to let that food then digest and break down in order to absorb the nutrients into the small intestine. So when that food has been broken down, this device will then tell you, okay, you can drink liquid on top.
Which is after how many minutes?
About 30 minutes after. So 30 minutes after you've ate your meal, you can drink. Because from what I gather, and please correct me if I'm wrong, if you drink on top of what you've ate,
it can get swollen in your stomach, and when you drink while eating, it makes your food go faster through your stomach, through your pylorus, and in that case you usually eat more because you like make more space for the new food
That's
coming.
correct.
So this is the one scenario, and the other one, when you eat and when you finish without drinking your meal and your stomach is full of eaten meal. When you drink too quickly straight after you finish your meal, you can make your the meal in your stomach swollen, and it like suddenly gives you at least discomfort, or it even can go up to the pain. So that because of the physics, you suddenly have much more the volume of your meal you had. It's much bigger than you had actually, just because it absorbs water.
True.
Or any other liquids.
But the interesting thing about all of this is the psychology behind it. Because the old Andrew would, I'd be eating quickly. So the psychology in here is you take your time. And so it's not only avoiding your stomach from being swollen or overwhelmed, it's enabling you to pace yourself at a good idea. So this is what this invention of mine is.
Okay, but I mean, to make it more clear for the audience, is it like fork with the timer, or is it like, how does it look like, basically?
Basically, what I can tell you is that you will, and what's brilliant about this is what you go to, it's really discreet. You can go, when you go to a restaurant, you can use it at home or in a restaurant. You will you can put a fork or a spoon into the electronic device, and when you'll switch it on, it'll know when you pick it up. It'll know that it's been picked up. When you put the food on the fork and you put it into your mouth, it knows that you're putting the food into your mouth with the fork, and it knows when you put it down to rest, it knows that it's been put down, and it will start a timer, and it'll tell you, okay, it's okay to drink now. And it'll tell you also, whilst you're eating, it'll beep. There's a bleeper on it, or there's a light or a beep on it. So whilst you're eating your food, you'll see the little LED saying, okay, 25 to 30 seconds is okay. You've chewed, now you can take your next.
I see.
So every time it's teaching you basically how to reeat and to control the pace of which you eat your food at. It monitors the rate of which you eat your food and drink at.
Basically,
it's very clever.
It helps you with slow eating, basically, and thorough eating. Have you been still using your device even at the point of being 6 years after your surgery?
Yes. We, in fact, my friend and I, my friend and I, who is another engineer, him and myself have worked on this idea. We have made a prototype, and I have been using the prototype for 6 years. The original mead, we call it, it's a little electronic device, and it was a simple timer with a button. You could have done it with a stopwatch. You could have done it with an app. But what makes this...
it makes it more complicated, of course.
But with this one, this latest idea is that it's very clever, whereby you can get the fork or the spoon, insert it into the electronic device, and it knows when you pick. It knows.
Well, of course, we all, let's be frankly, we all love gadgets, which are helpful in our everyday routines, isn't it? So, is there any way someone who would be interested in having such a device? Is there any way to buy it, to possess it?
Well, this is what I was going to talk to you about, because later we can't discuss this on the show because patency is reviewing. Patency is pending on this electronic device, but I'm hoping that you would endorse it after we've had a chat later, after I've spoken to later at great depth and shown you the prototype, I'd like to think that you'd endorse it. And so if anybody's listening to the show here, we would like to, when we make the prototype, if we could come back and show it working on the show.
Okay.
You would be the first.
Okay. So
I give you my word.
Okay.
Dr. Mulek, I give you my word. This is an exclusive to everybody and anybody watching the show. Once the prototype is made, I'll bring it on the show. We'll show it to you working. I'll share the information with you.
Okay, so
I trust you. You know.
Yeah, I will keep my fingers crossed so that we'll get into the point when it's ready to be sold out, and you know it will be helpful. It will be helpful to our future patients and previous patients.
Well, this is
keeping it slow.
Well, this is why I did it, because with me having had bariatric surgery, I couldn't eat too quickly, and I thought, is there something out there that I could innovate to help patients? And if it helps everybody, that's good. I think it's good.
It sounds more than good. It sounds great. Andrew,
yes,
it's only pleasure to talk with you, and the time flows by very quickly.
Yeah.
The last thing you would like to share with the people to sum up our meeting and your story, what would you say?
Well, thank you for giving me the lifeline. Thank you for my life has certainly changed, and my outlook from having met yourself. Words cannot express. I'm extremely grateful for having found yourself and the team all those years ago. I mean, there were other options like Turkey, and you go and stay in a hotel. There's a package deal. You go to the hospital. You have your surgery, you're then returned by a taxi to a hotel room, you're by yourself, there's a telephone there. If anything should go wrong, then we read about it and hear about it on the news every day. And this is why I didn't choose any. That's why I didn't.
Let's go into the positive examples.
And also, they're not a member of the EU. Yeah. But, I'm not trying to discourage anybody from, not trying to discourage anybody from going to let
everybody go wherever they want, but if for any reason there is anybody who would like to change their life here in Poland, it is an option, isn't it?
It certainly is. I knew that I was in a hospital, and I was in a hospital with a great team, and the nurses were looking after me 24 hours around the clock. I was under observation all the time, and that to me speaks for itself. And here we are 6 years later, not looking to. Yeah, it's. I'm not looking to.
It's quite a period of time, really, to make some summaries, basically, and to say if you won or if you lost your battle. And I'm definitely positive that you totally won your battle.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, because when you spoke to Andrew back in 2019. I was different then from what I am now.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't in a good place there. Whereas now, I think, investing in your health is the best thing you can do. Investing in your health, it doesn't matter about anything. If you've got your health, that's what matters at the end of the day. And thank you, Dr. Raphael Mulek and the team, for giving me that back.
I'm happy to hear that, and I would like, of course, to thank you for bringing that subject up, for sharing your story, which is very interesting. Which is on the other way, it's like many other stories people have, and I have to say that I'm so happy that I can be the part of your story even 6 years after, because it gives me the strength and just the pure happiness to be able to assist your patients and to become later friends for all those years. Because this is because thanks to all that effort we put together in the process of your treating of your disease, we can say that we won your very important battle of your life.
That's right. It's like with myself being a teacher. If you have knowledge, you pass it on. You change people's lives for the better, and that is a satisfaction that I think surpasses anything else. At the end of the day, when you go home, you can say to yourself, I've helped change somebody's life, and it was I who've helped them proceed forward in life with they were at a bad stage and now they're in a better stage, and I'm glad to have been able to help and help them forward, not only with education but with surgery and everything. And I don't think job satisfaction is a good thing, and I think you're a professional without a doubt, and as I say wholeheartedly, Dr. Raphael Mullick, I cannot thank you enough, and the team, for making me who I am today.
Thank you, and let's put it that way to sum it up. I would like to have all of the patients like you, Andrew.
Oh, thank you.
So satisfied with my surgery.
So if anybody's listening to this in the UK, this is real, okay?
Okay, thank you very much, and see you soon.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.